Why do we fall for the wrong person? Have you ever sat alone after yet another heartbreak and whispered to yourself, "Why do I always fall for the wrong person?" You're not the only one. In fact, it's one of the most universal yet misunderstood questions of our emotional lives. The answer, however, is not simple. It's a layered mix of psychology, biology, childhood patterns, fear, ego, and culture, and sometimes a little misplaced sense of humor from our subconscious mind. But what if I told you there's a pattern beneath it all? A psychological blueprint that's silently driving your romantic choices. And once you uncover it, everything changes. Let's begin. The echo of childhood. Psychologists like Dr. Harville Hendricks and John Bowlby have shown us how powerful our childhood experiences are. The way we were loved or not loved creates internal templates. If love in your childhood felt inconsistent, distant, or conditional, your brain wired itself to expect and chase exactly that kind of love. We're drawn not to what's healthy, but to what's familiar. A child who had to earn love might grow into an adult who finds emotional unavailability magnetic. Not because it feels good, but because it feels known. We often confuse intensity for intimacy. We mistake the anxious pull of unavailability for passion. And the chaos? We call that chemistry. Addicted to the high. Falling in love activates the same part of the brain as cocaine. Yep, science says love is a drug, especially toxic love. The emotional roller coaster of affection, withdrawal, and confusion creates a chemical cocktail. Dopamine, oxytocin, adrenaline that hooks you in. It's not just emotional, it's biological. So when someone gives us mixed signals, our brain doesn't say run. It says try harder. The inconsistency becomes addictive. Your brain begins to crave the validation, the chase, the rare, unpredictable reward. The ego's game. Sometimes we don't fall in love, we fall into ego traps. We chase people who don't want us to validate our worth. We want to prove we're lovable by winning the love of someone who's not offering it freely. Ever found yourself trying to fix someone? That's the savior complex, a subconscious belief that if you can heal them, they'll love you back. But instead, you're the one who ends up drained and broken. We turn people into projects and then suffer when they don't become the partner we hoped for. Fear of the real thing. Here's a twist. Maybe you fall for the wrong people not because you don't recognize the right ones, but because the right ones scare you. Real, healthy love requires presence, vulnerability, accountability. It requires showing up as your true self and letting someone see you. So what do? We run. We pick unavailable partners, not because we don't want intimacy, but because we fear what intimacy will require of us. Sometimes we think we're being rejected, but in truth, we're doing the rejecting. Subconsciously, we fear what we truly desire. Culture, stories, and the romance myth. Our stories about love are broken. From childhood, we're fed myths. Love is painful, dramatic, full of obstacles. The idea that love should be calm, kind, and consistent, that's not what the movies sell. So when someone stable enters our lives, we think, where's the spark? We were taught to chase butterflies, not peace. And that confusion drives us to mislabel red flags as romantic gestures. Real life stories. Sarah always went for emotionally unavailable men. She mistook emotional unavailability for mystery. It wasn't until therapy that she realized she was reliving her relationship with her emotionally distant father. Omar found himself dating partners he had to rescue, financially, emotionally, even physically. It wasn't love. It was his way of feeling useful, needed. His self-worth was tied to fixing broken people. These aren't rare stories. They're the invisible patterns in millions of lives. Breaking the cycle. So how do you stop falling for the wrong person? 1. Awareness. Start noticing your patterns. Who are you drawn to and why? 2. Heal the root. Often this means therapy. You can't build a new story on a wounded foundation. 3. Choose peace over chaos. Love that's calm isn't boring, it's healthy. Learn to sit with stability. 4. Stop fixing people. You are not a rehab center. The right partner won't need to be rescued. 5. Rewire your definition of love. If love always equals pain in your story, it's time to write a new one. 6. Forgive yourself. You were doing the best you could with what you knew. Now you know more. You'll do better. Final words. You're not broken. You're healing. Every wrong person was a mirror, a teacher, a lesson in disguise. The pain wasn't pointless. It was preparation. The right person? They won't feel like adrenaline. They'll feel like home. So the next time you're tempted to chase chaos, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, is this love or is this a pattern? You already know the answer. Now it's time to choose differently, because your heart isn't foolish. It's just been speaking a language it was taught. And you're finally learning to translate. And that, my friend, is where the real love story begins. Certainly. Here's a light-hearted, true-to-life closing paragraph in English that fits naturally within the tone and theme of your relationship psychology script. And finally, if you're still wondering, why do I keep choosing the wrong person? Let me leave you with a quick little story. My friend Layla used to say she was into mysterious men, the silent type with secrets. She started dating a guy who barely talked, always looked lost in thought, constantly unavailable. She told me, he's so deep there's something hidden inside. 3 months later, she found out what was hidden. Absolutely nothing. He wasn't mysterious. He was just emotionally unavailable and chronically confused. She came back and said, I thought I was living a mystery novel. Turns out it was just poor communication. Sometimes laughter is better than tears, because when we can laugh at our past choices, we begin to heal from them. And once the pain becomes a punchline, clarity follows. You don't need someone you have to decode. You need someone who speaks your language, clearly, kindly, and without subtitles. And that, my friend, is where the right love begins.